peace, happiness, and love. If you ask someone, what do you want in life? They'll think about it. Of course, they might say at first, I want money, I want to be materially happy. But after some time, they'll sort of come back and say, well, really, what I want is peace, happiness, and love. Now, the question is, what kind of love? What kind of peace? And what kind of happiness? So, there are different kinds of peace, happiness, and love. But the best peace, happiness, and love is when it's in relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can give you eternal peace, eternal happiness, and eternal love, rather than temporary peace, temporary happiness, and what you call love, but it's actually lust. So it's important to understand the quality of what you're praying for. Therefore, the best quality is genuine love for Radha and Krishna. And that's not difficult because you can see how beautiful they are. Sometimes people say, well, how can I believe in God? I don't see God. God was present 5,000 years ago and he was speaking to Arjuna, but I don't see him today. But that's not true. You're seeing him right now. Krishna is here in his form as the deity. And the deity is non-different than Krishna as long as the deity is worshipped properly. And we do worship the deity properly. We have 5 artis a day. Is that right? Is it 5? Yeah. And we offer 5 offerings a day of food, of arti. So we're not dealing with or we're not just offering once a day and just chanting or saying some mantras once a day for the deity. It's basically 24 hours a day, thinking and serving Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhava, Gaur Nitai, Jagannath Subhadra Baladevi Ki Jai, Jagannath Subhadra Baladevi, and the pujaris work every day. They don't skip any days. They don't skip any. Just touch my head. Yeah, thank you. They don't skip any days. There's no vacation because the deities are not what you would call idols. They're actually the presence of Radha and Krishna. Why do we say that? Because the ceremony of Pran Pratishtha has been performed properly, and because of that, every day they have to be served 5 times a day with arti, with prasadam. They're bathed and dressed, and then their dresses are changed again, second time. And there are artis, like I said, 5 times a day, where there's chanting for their pleasure, dancing for their pleasure. So these are it's actually the presence of Krishna, Radha and Krishna. A person who has not been educated to understand who Radha and Krishna are. They see only statues. But a person who's been educated to see who Radha and Krishna are, they accept them as actual living deities, and they act like that. You see, like for example, if you go to the Bellevue library, outside you'll see a statue of Gandhi. And once a year, there'll be a little puja for Gandhi, and then the rest of the year, nothing. So, Gandhi's statue is just a what you would call it's not exactly an idol. It's just something that is taken care of only once a year. In the sense of there's a little ghee lamp that's offered to him, and some chanting, and that's it. Whereas our pujaris have to get up 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning every day. They take baths, they put on clean clothes, they put on tilak, and they come wake up the deities with choice mantras, and then they perform arti, and then they feed the deities, and they're fed 5 times a day with 5 artis. So these are not what you would call simply idols. They're actually living, in the sense that there's a mutual relationship that one builds up with the deities. And eventually, if our service is sincere, if our service is regulated, there's no skipping artis or skipping anything, then the deity reciprocates with the devotee. It's possible, and there's many examples of it in the Vedic history, the deity speaking with the devotees who are serving them, and even saving the devotees from extreme danger. And so this is what civilizes a person. When this person worships God, offers their homage to God, and bows down to God on a daily basis, and is always, and brings presents for Krishna, and offers prayers to Krishna, and develops genuine love and devotion for Radha and Krishna. Now we see that they reciprocate with the devotee. In what way? Well, the life of the devotee becomes very peaceful, very happy, and even in difficult situations, the devotee is always, Krishna is always protecting his devotee, just like he protected, or Krishna protected Draupadi. Draupadi was going to be stripped by Dushashan, but she prayed to the Lord, first by holding on to her sari, and then praying to the Lord, and then she realized, wait a minute, why am I holding on to the sari and praying only with one arm? So she took her arm away from the sari and prayed with both hands. And at that point, her sari became infinitely long, and she was not defiled. The sari became so long that Dushashan and so forth gave up trying to strip her. So, is that simply a story or is that real? Well, we know that it's actually real. It actually happened. And in many ways, sincere devotees who completely surrender their life to the Lord experience these type of let's say, experience the presence of the Lord always in their life. And why? Because they become conscious every day, every minute, every second of the presence of the Lord in their heart. They're always thinking about the Lord. They're always praying to the Lord. Oftentimes, they are making offerings to the Lord. In this way, the relationship with the deity of Radha and Krishna and the devotee is a living experience. It is not something, let's say, something that is a material relationship. It's actually a living spiritual relationship. This is when people become spiritually enlightened. So that's what we want to teach, and that's what we want to be the culture of our life, the culture of reciprocation of love and devotion for Radha and Krishna. Then we become actually civilized. Then we become actually happy. Then we become full of peace and ready to do whatever is necessary to keep relationship with Radha and Krishna factual. Okay, so what does that mean, factual? Well, it means that Krishna will take special interest in you, protect you, give you knowledge, and always comfort you in all situations. This can only be experienced when we fully surrender ourselves to the Lord. Now, how do you surrender yourself to the Lord? First of all, the word surrender oftentimes is considered to be a bad word or a bad thing, to surrender yourself. Because, if you surrender yourself to the wrong person, then they'll exploit you. But if you surrender yourself to Radha and Krishna, they will not exploit you. They will protect you, care for you, in every way help you in all situations. So then the question is, how do you surrender to Radha and Krishna? That is not a difficult thing. In fact, it's one of the most easiest things that you can do in your life. You chant the holy mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare is the name of Radharani. It's referring to Srimati Radharani. And Krishna refers to Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Radharani is the most merciful, let's say, deity. And then Rama is another name of Krishna, or it also refers to Lord Rama, who is most merciful. So if you repeat this mantra regularly, every day, you are in direct contact with Radha and Krishna and Lord Rama, and they're going to do everything to help you overcome all the situations of life. And we see that when you become serious about chanting. And chanting should be done loudly. It shouldn't be something quiet. It should be done loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This loud chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra attracts the is noticed by Krishna, who's in your heart. Krishna is present in the heart of every living entity. But the loud chanting is very, very effective in connecting with the Lord. When Advaita Acharya, who was a great devotee and also an incarnation of Krishna, there was at that time he could see that there was a great deterioration of Sanatana Dharma in Bharat. But he thought, I need to have Krishna himself in the form of Lord Chaitanya to come and start the Sankirtan movement. So there are many expansions of Krishna. Krishna is not, let's say, limited to one person. He can expand himself in many people, in many persons. So Advaita Acharya is an expansion of Krishna. You and I are expansions of Krishna. We come, our souls originally come from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. But there are different levels of, let's say, potency of the expansions. So Advaita Acharya was a plenary expansion of the Lord, but even he wanted the Lord in the form of Lord Chaitanya to appear, because there was a need to establish the chanting of Hare Krishna as the Yuga Dharma, or the bona fide and most effective way to overcome the degradation of the life in Kali Yuga. So Advaita Acharya chanted out loud while he was offering Ganges water to his deity of Shalagram Shila. And he chanted out very loud, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And for a very long time. It was not just one day, for a long time. And eventually, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. In Kali Yuga, the Lord appears in his golden form as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he comes not as he does in this Krishna form, because Krishna came and he had to fight sometimes with demons and killed them and so forth. When Lord Chaitanya came, he did not kill demons, but he purified them by chanting and dancing and engaging them in devotional service. So when we see Krishna, he kills the different demons like Kamsa and so forth. But when he comes in the form of Lord Chaitanya, he kills their desire for sense gratification. It's another way of killing. You kill the desire for sense gratification. That means one becomes completely purified of the desire to hurt either others or himself, and dedicates his or her life to pleasing the Lord by acts of devotion. So that's why Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful form of Krishna in the age of Kali Yuga, the age of hypocrisy and quarrel, because the Lord dances, chants, has festivals, and distributes prasadam, and teaches people Bhagavad Gita. So this is the special merciful appearance of the Lord, or incarnation of the Lord in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the worst time to live, because most people are demoniac. They eat meat, they gamble, they have illicit sex, they intoxicate. There are wars, many wars, and a lot of people die. In previous time, wars were done, but it was only the warriors that would fight and kill each other. Today, whenever there's a war, innocent people die. they, they throw bombs and children die and women die. And, previously it was only the warriors that would fight and kill each other. You see, so this is a very degraded time, and because it's so degraded, it's important that Lord Chaitanya came and spread the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra movement, by which even the lowest person, even the most fallen person, can make spiritual advancement and go back to Godhead. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya, Krishna's form is Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful form of the Lord. He's here to to save every living entity to go back to Godhead. So I wanted to read a verse from the Ishopanishad, which says, Vayar anilam amritam atedam basmantam sarinam om krato smara kritam smara krato smara kritam smara. This is the 17th chapter mantra of the Ishopanishad. This is a wonderful book. We have it. You should definitely get it. It's a short book. It's not real long, only 18 mantras, but the whole philosophy of Krishna consciousness is explained in it, and we have it on sale here. So this verse says, it's a prayer to Lord Krishna, and it says, "Let this temporary body be burnt to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you." Well, what does it mean, you are the ultimate beneficiary? It means that everything we do, all actions that we take, all desires that we have, ultimately, they are meant for Krishna, because Krishna is the ultimate supreme personality of Godhead. So here it's saying, please remember all my sacrifices. Well, this is a prayer that should be said regularly, of course, but especially at the moment of death, because at the moment of death, we should supplicate or pray to Lord Krishna. But if we never did anything for the Lord, there's nothing for the Lord to remember, you see. Because it says here that please remember all my sacrifices. But if you haven't done anything, you haven't sacrificed in your life for the Lord. Now, what do you mean by sacrifice, or what is meant by sacrifice? Well, simply chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the ultimate sacrifice in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You are supplicating first Srimati Radharani by saying Hare, and she's the most merciful. And she's very beautiful. You can see her here right now. It's extremely beautiful. And her hand is held like this, offering her blessings. And Krishna, of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is here also. And Rama, and Rama refers also to Krishna, or in his form as Lord Rama, the most merciful. So, therefore, this mantra, where you're chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, is called the Maha Mantra, the supreme mantra to liberate all living entities from the cycle of birth and death. This is what you would call the ultimate panacea for salvation. And it doesn't cost anything. And it's very easily done, and it's happily done. So when you chant Hare Krishna, you actually become happy. You become peaceful. And why? Because Krishna takes an interest in you because you're chanting his name. Just like if you find out that there's a person that's talking about you very nicely and is saying, very using choice words, glorifying your good qualities, you would like to know who that person is. But the ultimate person that is, let's say, giving us everything necessary to have a peaceful life and going back to Godhead, going back to the spiritual world where we came from. See, there's no reason to talk about going back to the spiritual world if we weren't there in the first place. And if we were not already part and parcel of Krishna. But because we all come from Krishna, he's the supreme source of everything, including all the living entities or jivas, and we are jivas. We're eternal, minute, eternal spirit souls, and we are in the material world because we have limited, let's say, freedom. We can. What is our limited freedom? Freedom is limited to two choices: either we choose to serve Krishna, or we choose not to serve Krishna. If we choose to serve Krishna, Krishna takes a personal interest in us. If we choose not to serve Krishna, then Krishna will put us in the situation of being in a material body, in the material world, undergoing the process of birth, death, old age, and disease, and giving us a chance to have a human form. There are 8,400,000 forms that you can have. To come to the human form, we have gone through all those forms, at least 8 million forms, and to get to the human form. And in the human form, there are 400,000 species. Most of them are not civilized. So it's a big journey to come to a civilized human form. And in that civilized human form, we have the opportunity to completely surrender ourselves to Krishna and go back to Godhead. If we come to the human form, and it's difficult, you have to go through all the species to come to the human form, and just use that human form for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, but not anything related to pleasing the Lord, we actually violate the whole purpose of having a human form. So what do animals do? They eat, they sleep, they mate, and defend. What does a advanced human being do? They also eat. They also eat, sleep, mate, defend, but they do all those things according to Krishna consciousness to please the Lord, and they pray to the Lord, and they make offerings to the Lord, and they chant the names of the Lord. And in this Kali Yuga, this age of hypocrisy and quarrel, they will also go on Harinam Sankirtan for the Lord. By doing these things, you can be liberated from the cycle of birth and death, and have and manifest your eternal spiritual body and go back to the spiritual world where we originally came from. If we did not come from Krishna and the spiritual world, there would be no possibility of going back to the spiritual world. The only reason there's the opportunity to do that is because that's where we came from. And we are all you could say, children of God. We are all expansions of Krishna. Krishna has many expansions. He expands. His first expansion is Lord Balaram. And then There's the expansion of the material world. There's the expansion of the spiritual world. There's the expansion of all the jivas, the living entities. So we're one expansion of Krishna. That means that we belong with Krishna. But because we have limited free will, why does it say limited free will? Because it's limited to two choices. Either we choose to serve Krishna or we choose not to serve Krishna. Either way, Krishna knows what's going to happen to us. Now, the good news is that even if we choose not to serve Krishna and we get more and more degraded, even so low that we go to hell, there's always a possibility of salvation. Now, there's a major difference between Christianity and Krishna consciousness. In Christianity, the Christians are very adamant about the fact that if you end up in hell, you will never come back. That's not true as far as Krishna consciousness is concerned. If it was true, then God would be a mean person to eternally damn someone to suffer or to be destroyed completely in hell. But in Krishna consciousness, the eternality of the soul, number one, let's say, important point, that we are not this body. Who are we actually? We are the eternal soul that's animating this temporary material body with consciousness. So there's no question of us dying or being injured. The only thing that can die and be injured is the material body, not the eternal soul. Okay, and then secondly, even if we go to hell because of living sinfully, if we take the great, let's say, if we have the great, let's say, opportunity to associate with a pure devotee like Narada Muni, who comes to hell. Narada Muni can go anywhere, and he comes to hell also. Then by having his association, even if we're in hell, even if we committed all kinds of sinful activities, we can become purified and go back to Godhead. The most important thing for a human being is to have the association of a genuine devotee whose only concern is to please Krishna and to help all the living jivas or living entities, you and me, including even the insects and the birds and the bees and all kinds of living entities, to have a chance to go back to Godhead by coming in contact with such persons. So, therefore, there are persons like Narada Muni who are eternally present in the material universe. They can go to the spiritual world also at their own will. And they're always spreading the glories of Krishna and giving people a chance to chant Hare Krishna or at least hear the mantra Hare Krishna. Hearing the mantra Hare Krishna is so powerful that even the animals are benefited. Even the jivas in the bodies of trees or plants are benefited. Everyone is benefited. All living beings are benefited. And a living being is something that grows. So that includes the grass and the trees and so forth. So by chanting Hare Krishna, you can help the trees, you can help the plants, you can help the grass, you can help all kinds of animals to have spiritual benefit and eventually come much quicker to the human form of life. There are 8,400,000 different species of life. 8 million are in the animal world, fish world, and so forth. 400,000 are human forms. And when we say 400,000 human forms, this is counting human forms all over the universe, not just on the earth. There are human beings all over the universe, and they have different types of bodies. because there's different types of atmospheres. Just like when you so-called astronaut lands on the moon, which they have never actually really done, and they're never really going to do it either. But they have this whole moon uniform one, right? Because you can't go to another planet with a different types of atmosphere and live with this body. So when Elon Musk says, well, you know, in the 20, 30 years, there'll be 1 million people living on Mars, that's complete nonsense. And the Elon Musk is not going to be one of them. He's not going to be one of them because he knows that you cannot really exist on Mars. Right? But he's just talking nonsense, and that's the way he makes money. He makes declarations that are not true, and unfortunately, some people believe them. And then he can sell them products to make himself rich. But nobody is going to go to Mars or the moon because the atmosphere in those planets are different than the atmosphere here. But there are inhabitants on all those planets, but they have different types of bodies. Like, for example, our bodies here on the Earth are made mainly of water and matter. But on the moon, the main element of the body is the mind. It's more subtle. So you have earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. So these are material elements that make up a human body. So the material bodies throughout the universe are made from these 8 elements, but in different, let's say, quantities. So the main element on the moon is the mind. So if you go to the moon, which you're not going to be able to do, but if you ever go to the moon, you would not be able to see the bodies of the people on the moon because they're subtle. The bodies that we have here are mostly water and matter. So there are a lot of things that we have to understand about our reality. And one reality is we cannot exist on the moon or any other planet because our body is made only for existing on the Earth. But you can eventually go to the moon, not by rockets or anything, but by worshiping the moon deities. Then you could go to the moon and have a moon body. But why do that when you could go back to Godhead and have an eternal spiritual body? So better than wanting to go to the moon, we should desire to go back to Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha, there's no more kunta, there's no more misery. It's full of bliss. So if we can understand what is the ultimate destination. There was once a young boy, he was an orphan, and he was poor, and he didn't have his parents anymore. They had died. He was having a hard time in life, and he used to hang out close to this grocer, and the grocer noticed him over time, and he asked him, he said, who are you exactly? Why are you standing here all the time? He said, well, I'm an orphan, and I don't have my parents anymore, and I don't have a place to stay. And the grocer felt, some desire to help him. So he said, well, if you're willing to work, you can stay in a shed that I have in the back of my store, in my backyard. And so the boy was happy. He said, yes, sir, I'll do that, and I'll be really serious about the work. So in this way, now the boy had somewhere he could sleep, and he had some work he could do, and he was able to eat something. And as time went on, the boy saw that the grocer himself would leave his store and go and pay taxes to the governor. So he thought, oh, wait a minute. The governor, he lives in this big, big house. Maybe I could be his servant, because he was, he was living with the grocer, but he saw that his level of life would be enhanced by living with the governor, or under the let's see, the auspices of the governor. So he asked the grocer if he could go with him, and if the grocer could recommend that he work and live with the governor. And the grocer said, yes, you've been a very good person. I think you should be able to do that. So now he was living with the governor. He ate. He had nicer clothes. He had nicer living condition. He had nicer food. But then he saw that the governor, every once in a while, would leave at night and go into the jungle, and he decided to follow him and see what he was doing. And he followed him, and he saw that the governor was going to this ashram in the forest, where he heard Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then he realized, oh my God, this is where I should be. If the governor's coming here, and he saw that the governor was paying his dandavats, he was bowing down to the sadhus that were living in the jungle, and chanting Hare Krishna. So now he joined them, and this was the summum bonum, let's say, of his quest to live in the best place with the best people and have the best result, which is to go back to Godhead. Right? So with the grocer, he might have been elevated from, over time to work in a supermarket maybe instead of a small grocery. Right? So there was a limitation there. And with the governor, well, he might have become a politician or something. But with the devotees, he became a pure devotee, and he went back to Godhead. So we should want to live with and associate with the best people. Now, the best people are not necessarily the rich people. The best people are those who are rich in their surrender and love for Krishna, and their natural, let's say, culture of giving Krishna consciousness to others freely. So those are the type of people that are the best people to associate with, because the result is the best result that anyone can achieve. That is, you could go back to Godhead, have eternal life, and no more birth, death, old age, and disease. So we should seek the association of genuine devotees, hear their discourses, offer service, and learn how to chant the holy name of the Lord without any offenses. There are 10 offenses to the holy mantra, Hare Krishna. We should not violate them, and in this way have a successful life. The real success is not becoming someone like Elon Musk or somebody like that. Real success is going back to Godhead. And to go back to Godhead, you have to associate with pure devotees. And now, who was a pure devotee? Like, I remember one time, this one person came, he was dressed in dhoti, and he was born in Mayapur, India, and he was in the family tradition of the Ols and Bowls. These are people who are descendants of Advaitacharya or some other great acharya in the time of Lord Chaitanya. And he could sing so many beautiful bhajans and dance and play an instrument, and he came, and so he was when he came, he had a dhoti on and tilak, and I was happy to meet him, and he was happy to come to the temple, and he chanted very nicely, bhajans, and but very quickly I saw that he had some bad habits. He had a girlfriend. He was not married. He had a girlfriend. And he was smoking marijuana. So, in spite of the fact that he could chant Hare Krishna nicely, dance, play instruments really well, I realized that he was actually not qualified to help people actually become Krishna conscious. So I had to separate from him because he was bad association. The way you can make spiritual advancement most quickly and effectively is to associate with people who are actually following the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and always chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and engaging in devotional service, etc. Those are the type of people you should associate with, and then you can make tangible spiritual advancement. If you associate with people who drink alcohol, who gamble, who I remember one time there was this Jain gentleman, and Jains normally are very strict about following the rules of no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling. They live a pretty straight life. So there was this one Jain gentleman that I knew. He was a very nice man. And one day there was some kind of a program that I went to, and he was there, and I saw him drinking wine. I couldn't believe it. And then I realized that there is, let's say, situations in which even good people take up bad habits. So we have to avoid good people who have bad habits, right? And just be with good people who have only good habits. And that's what's called following Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma, it means that you only have good habits, such as chanting Hare Krishna, such as being very humble, such as being very clean, such as being always open to helping other people become Krishna conscious, and so forth. So this temple is dedicated to helping everyone, regardless. They can be American, they can be Indian, they can be even a criminal. We do have our devotees that go into jails and teach Krishna consciousness. You have to get a permit to get into the jail, and it's hard to get that permit. But once you get it, you go to the jail, and I went to jail, and it was really hard to get in the jail, right? imagine how hard it is to get out. It's so hard to get in. And there's a room in the jail where people who want to meet a priest, or like in my case, a Hare Krishna priest, and you have a little program there. So there were like 3 people that came, and they had contacted me. It's hard for them to contact people on the outside, but anyway, they were able to contact me and ask me to come to the jail. So I had to get a permit, and you go through a whole process to get that permit to enter the jail. They do a background check on you, and they ask you questions and this and that. It took about, I think it was 2 months to get the permit. And then when I got into the jail, it was hard to get in. You have to go through so many doors, so many locked doors. And you get in, and now I was in jail with all the other criminals. And there's a room where you can, have a little program with some of the criminals. So there were 3 people that came, and we had Kirtan, and I gave a class. I answered their questions, and then I started to open up. I had brought prasadam with me from the temple, and I started to open it up, and I noticed that they were very quiet, and I sort of turned my back to look at them, and they were all like, in a state of shock. And I asked them, I said, "What's the matter?" And one of them said, "Is that prasadam?" I said, "Yes, it is." And he looked at the others and he said, "He brought prasadam." I said, "Yeah." I said, "What's the matter?" And then they bowed down. They did nandabas to the prasadam. And I was really surprised from that, because I thought, gee, these people have more, let's say, respect for prasadam than I do, And then they stood up, and I said, "Well, now let me just, give you some prasadam." They said, "Can we eat it?" I said, "Yes, you can." And they were like shocked. They were like amazed, And they took the prasadam with a lot of respect and love, and they felt blessed in the jail. So this is the power of Krishna consciousness, that everyone can be benefited, even the criminal can be benefited by taking Mahaprasadam and associating with genuine devotees and chanting, learning to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We should all be very, very enthusiastic to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We should be very enthusiastic to respect Mahaprasadam. We should be very, very enthusiastic to go out on Nagar Sankirtan and chant the holy names of the Lord loudly in the streets of Seattle, so that other people also can hear the mantra and also chant, by going out regularly, and our devotees do go out regularly to do Sankirtan every Saturday. Many people hear the mantra, and eventually, as soon as they see the devotees, they say, Hare Krishna. We also have our food trucks that go out and give free prasadam 5 days a week. And many people that come regularly to the food trucks, as soon as they come up to be served, they say, Hare Krishna. So they might be, homeless, they might be criminals, they might be just people having a difficult time in life, but they eventually end up saying Hare Krishna because they're seeing us on a regular basis, and they're taking the prasadam on a regular basis. In fact, by taking prasadam, prasadam is not just food. It is a spiritual substance that can change the life of a person. I saw this in a very dramatic way. I used to be in Berkeley, California. They also call it Berkeley. There are a lot of crazy people there in that town. And there's a place called the People's Park where the craziest people were always there. And I used to go there on a regular basis, daily, to take prasadam to the crazies. And there was one especially very crazy fallen person there. He hardly ever bathed, and he could not really speak properly. And at first he never took the prasadam. So I would always leave a couple plates of prasadam on this table outside where people would come to stand in a line and have some prasadam. And I noticed in the beginning he never took the prasadam, but then I noticed that he was taking the prasadam. And then one day he was standing in line to take prasadam. When he came to get a plate, he said to me, I want to be Hare Krishna. He couldn't speak very well because he was so drugged, I said, okay. He said, I want to come live with you. I said, well, you're not ready. He said, why? I said, you're not ready, but you just keep coming here, take prasadam, and little by little, you'll get better. So he said, oh, you mean? I said, no, I'm not mean. But you're not ready to come and live in the temple yet. He said, well, I want to live in a temple. I said, I know you want to live. Just listen to me. You just come here every day and take prasadam, and then I'll let you help me. And little by little, I'll see you make some spiritual progress, and you can come and live in a temple. He said, oh, how long is that going to take? I said, you let me tell you. Don't you try to tell me. So this went on for about a month. He was coming every day, and he started, coming to the temple. I never let him come in to help me carry all the prasadam. We didn't have a vehicle at that time. We had these rolling things, and after a month of doing that, he finally said to me, now can I live in your temple? And I said, well, we'll give you a try, I said, but the first time you don't listen to what I say, I'm going to throw you out. He said, oh, you mean? I said, no, I'm not mean. I'm your real friend. If you listen to what I say, you're going to become a really good devotee. So, yeah, I want to be devotee. Yeah, I know you do. So you just listen to what I say, but the first time you don't listen to what I say, I'm going to throw you out of the temple. So he started to live in a temple, and I told him what the rules are. I said, you have to go to sleep 9 o'clock at night. You have to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning. He said, oh, 3 o'clock? That's too early. I said, see, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You have to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning. And then you have to do everything that I tell you to do all day long. So he started to do that. And little by little, he became really regulated. And he began to learn how to chant. He was taking a bath two times a day. He was coming out of Sankirtan with me and coming with me to serve prasadam also. And eventually, one day he talked to me. He said, I want to go to India and see Krishna. So I said, you're not ready. He said, oh, you're so mean. I said, no, I'm not mean. But you can do it. But you're going to have to learn how to distribute our books, Prabhupada's books. And every day, whatever money you get, you're going to give it to me, and I'm going to hold it. And when there's enough money to buy a ticket to go to India, then you can go. He said, okay, I'll do that. So he did do that. He did collect the money, and he was able to go to India. And he's still in India, and he goes on Sankirtan every day. He learned how to. He learned how. He learned how to read and write Sanskrit. I mean, he completely changed. Let's put it like that. And he goes on Sankirtan every day, like I said, and it's a complete success. So this is the, let's say, the miracle of Krishna consciousness. It can transform a person completely to be completely spiritually dedicated to serving Radha and Krishna. And their life increases tremendously by doing that. So, anyway, I just wanted to read this one mantra again. It says, Vayar anilam amritam atedam basmantam sarinam om kratos smara kritam smara kratam smara kritam smara. Let this temporary body be burnt to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord Krishna, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. This is a mantra you should say at the moment of death. But if you never did anything for Krishna, then Krishna is not going to have to, there's nothing for Krishna to remember. So we have to build up a large, let's say, number of days and years of serving Krishna, so that at the moment of death, when we say this prayer, Krishna can remember everything that we did and take us back to Godhead. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. So, are there any questions you would like to ask? Now, whenever I say this, usually there's a lot of silence and nobody raises their hand, and it's actually not very favorable, because you learn by asking questions. You don't learn by staying quiet or silent. So there should be at least one question. One person at least should ask a question. So that breaks the ice, as they say. And then there's some discussion. And because maybe something I said you don't agree with, or maybe there's a question you've always had in your mind that no one's ever answered properly for you. So let me ask now, and usually we have a rule here: no question, no eat. So if you want to get to that prasadam quickly, there should be at least one question. So I'll ask, yes, go ahead.
At the time of death,
At the time of death,
do we become whatever we're thinking of at the last moment? Or do we become whatever's karmically next in the whole species of life?
well, let's talk about what actually happens at the moment of death. Everything you've done in your life appears in your mind. So now the question is, what did you do? So all the video games and all the nonsense things that you might have done, it's all going to appear in front of you. So as soon as if you've done all those things that are not related to Krishna, right? That's what you're going to see, and you're going to take birth again, and probably, most probably, not in a human form of life, in an animal form of life, or worse, a bug or something like that, or a cockroach. You know, nowadays they're making. They found out that cockroaches have the most protein. So now they have these farms where they grow cockroaches, and then they kill the cockroaches and powder them, and they give some name like, you know, A58 or something like that, so you don't know what it actually is, and they're putting that into food for protein. Yeah, and they say, you know, supreme protein product, A22, you know. So you don't want to end up becoming a cockroach, right? So that means that you got to get serious about life. That seriousness is what you're thinking about at the moment of death. That's going to determine what's going to happen to you. But the moment of death is a very, very difficult moment because, first of all, you're overwhelmed by pain and fear, and your mind is usually, you know, not in a normal state. And therefore, but if you've spent your whole life being, or most of your life being Krishna conscious, you'll be chanting at the moment of life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And you're going to go back to Godhead. But other people, like for example, there was this one man, he became a krorbati. That means he was very rich. And the way he got rich was he would buy on a regular basis Calcutta steel stock. He did that over a period of like 50 years. So he became very rich. And now he was on his deathbed, and he had a large family, he had sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters and so forth. And they were all around him. He was in the bed, and they were all, you know, anticipating his death. And at one point he made some motion, you know, that he wanted to sit up. He was, you know, reclining in the bed, and he wanted to sit up and say something. And this was like the last thing he was going to say, you know. So when they put him up a little bit, he said he couldn't speak so loudly because he was suffering. He said, and it was a Friday night, you know. So he said, Monday morning, buy Calcutta stock, and he died. That was the last thing he said. Right. So that was his consciousness. Calcutta stock, Calcutta stock, Calcutta stock. Now, what happened to him? Let's discuss that. That's the most interesting part of the story. He became a rat in his next life in Calcutta factory. So, I mean, don't think that this is just a joke or this is just a fantasy. This is factual. Whatever you're thinking about at the moment of death, that's what you're going to be. If you're thinking about your 401k, or you're thinking about, like this one man heard that at the moment of death, sometimes people are thinking about sex. So his friend said, "I don't believe that." You know, I said, "Well, I know someone is almost going to die right now. Let's go and see him. You bring your daughter with you. Let her be dressed nicely. Let's see what happens." I said, "Okay." So they go, and there's come into the room where he's lying in his bed, and the daughter was very, very beautiful lady. She put on, her jewelry and some perfume and everything, and she was dressed in a very nice sari and so forth. And they walked into the room, and the man was sort of like looking, he couldn't bend his head so much, but he sort of was like looking like this. And he was looking at the lady, and he died. The last thing was looking at the girl, right? So even at the moment of death, people who are, spent most of their life just watching television, trying to make money, and spending it, and having sex, even at the moment of death, that's what they're thinking about. And they go back, they get birth as an animal, and they were going to suffer. You have a question?
No, I just wanted to add, my brother shared a story. This happened during the couple of years ago, during the COVID time.
Yeah.
So one person was pretty much diagnosed that he would die. He is a consultant and he knows that person very well. So, and he was diagnosed that the next, maybe maximum 24 hours. So he calls somebody, and his son is about to buy a vehicle, it seems, that month or that. So he calls somebody that he knows, a dealership, and then says, my son will come next week sometime. Make sure that you give him 15% discount.
This is in his mind, right? He's dying, and he's talking about getting a 15% discount. Yeah. Right.
So this is true. This is really.
Yeah. Yeah. This is mundane life, because people have not. I mean, Hindus that born in India, they know everything about. I remember when I used to go on Sankirtan. This is years ago, in Paris, and whenever we would see, Hindus, we'd go up to them and say, Hare Krishna, and they'd look at us and say, yeah, we know all about that. I said, well, would you like to have a book? He said, no, we know all this thing, And they were not interested at all. And I would be shocked because I thought, they come from India. It's just their culture. We're distributing books that is all about, Sanatana Dharma, and they're not interested at all, And eventually, that type of, then I realized there's something wrong going on in India, right? Now, I'm not saying that all Indians are like that, but a lot of Indians have become contaminated by Western culture. And they're not interested in actually following Sanatana Dharma. They're interested in following, how to make more money, how to spend the money, and how to invest the money. One day, I did a program in somebody's house, and during the program, only women were listening to the class. But it was a big house. It was a rich family. But I knew there has to be men, but they weren't there, right? So after the class, I took a little walk around the house. It was a very big house. And I saw all the men in one part of the house, And they were like all listening to somebody speaking. And I was wondering, what are they listening? What is the person saying? So I sort of got closer, and there was one man speaking. He was sitting down, and everybody else was standing around him. And what I heard was he said, and in 1903, I bought. What was it? I bought stock in this company. I forget which company he said. Uh, but when he said that, because the company now, 20 years later was had increased. No, he said, yeah, in 1998, I bought what stock? He said. Anyway, stock in one of these big companies. And as soon as he said that and said the date, everyone went, ah. They were like shocked, because that means, he's a millionaire now. So, and then one guy almost fell, he sort of started going to fall, and I had to hold him, because this is their consciousness, they're all thinking about, becoming millionaires. So it's a very dangerous, very, very dangerous culture. One should be more interested in making spiritual progress rather than making, and by the way, it is considered to be sinful to just make a lot of money and keep it in the bank. You're supposed to live a very simple life and use money to help other people and promote Krishna consciousness. So it's sinful to hoard things, and therefore today most people, they think that no, the real purpose is to make more and more money and have a huge amount of money in the bank, and to spend it and have more houses and cars and this and that. But actually, it's sinful to do that. We're meant to have a minimalist lifestyle. That is to have very simple lifestyle and not have an excess of too much money. Now, there's nothing wrong with making $1 million a day. There's nothing wrong with it if you use most of that money to help other people become Krishna conscious. Then it is a spiritual thing. But if you just make money and put it in a bank, like there was this one rich lady, when she died, she had $4 billion in the bank, and she left it to her dog. That means that, her lawyer stole the money. But she left it to her dog, right? And what are you going to do with $4 billion anyway? You can do so much good with it. So this is this is a big problem in this country. Most people don't make a lot of money in this country. Most people, they have somewhat of a decent life. We're not talking about Seattle, but when you can go to some places in this country, people are living with, maybe $35,000 a year or $50,000 a year, which is not a lot of money today. But they're able to live. But the point is, when we make a lot of money, that's, Krishna's mercy, but it should be used in the service of Krishna, not used just to get bigger and bigger houses and bigger cars and bigger this or that. And if you do that, then this, what you would call hatred, goes away. When they see people who are able to make a lot of money, use their money to help other people, then the difference between the rich and the poor, that difference goes away, and people become more friendly and help each other, and society becomes much more peaceful. But when they see some people are very, very rich and some people are very, very poor, it doesn't make sense. And then eventually it leads to a revolution like the French Revolution. And in the 1930s, it was like terrible. And so many people were suffering in the United States. I mean, so it's good to be generous, and the best way to be generous, you come to the temple, you learn about Krishna, and then you go with us on Sankirtan to distribute prasadam and books and help people become Krishna conscious. That's the best service you can do for yourself and for others. So I'll stop right there. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So we have some feast sponsors tonight. Shiva Sai Kiran Namburi. Mr. Namburi, seeking blessings for Damodar Hari Prabhu and Nanda Rani Mataji for teaching them, I guess, or teaching him, Sri Ishopanishad. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. And then Karuna Nami Devidasi, on the occasion of her husband Ramesh Chand's retirement and path to spiritual progress. Hari Bol! Well, we hope that Ramesh Chand makes a lot of spiritual progress because he has a very good wife who's supporting him to do that. And then Radha Mataji and family. Hare Krishna. And Ravi Kumar Shamana on the occasion of his daughter Vibhashri birthday. So very happy birthday, Vibhashri. And Damodar Prasad Das and family, Hare Krishna. And Chaitanya Sundar Das, my good friend, this is his birthday. So many more happy birthdays, Chaitanya Sundar Prabhu. That's a very beautiful name, Chaitanya Sundar Das. Okay, now our announcements are, we're going to celebrate Mahashivaratri, March 9th, Saturday. Mahashivaratri. And we love Lord Shiva. He's a pure devotee. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you don't worship Lord Shiva. You only worship Krishna." Well, that's not true. We're going to celebrate Mahashivaratri on March the 9th, Saturday. And then our Holy Color Festival on March 23rd in Marymore Park from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's one difference this year from other years. You have to register to come to that festival now. Last year we had almost 20,000 people that came, and it overwhelmed the Marymore Park people. So they've given a lot of restrictions this year. So if you want to come to the festival, which is fantastic, it's a wonderful festival, you have to register. So that is March 23rd in Marymore Park for the Holy Festival. And then now we have a second temple. It's in Vedic Cultural Center, Bellevue Temple. And it's open weekdays 7 at night till 8:30 at night, and weekends 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's a beautiful temple. It's twice as big as this temple. And many people are beginning to come. And especially it's a great venue to have festivals, weddings, and programs. So thank you very much. And now we will have our Aarti ceremony. Jai Chaitanya Sundar Prabhu, you have a beautiful name, Chaitanya Sundar Prabhu. Many more happy birthdays. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Namaste नरसिंहाय नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लाद लाददायिने प्रह्लाद लाददायिने हिरण्याकाशिपूर्वक्षः हिरण्याकाशिपूर्वक्षः शिलटन्कानकालये शिलटन्कानकालये इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह जतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह जतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह बोहे नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह बोहे नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह नरसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपदे नरसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपदे तब कर कमल बरे नकाम अद्भुत सिंह दलितालिरन्नकशिपु तनुभृङ्ग केशवदेता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
कमल वरे नाका अद्भुत श्रृंगार
दलितालिरन्नकशिपु
तनुभृङ्गा केशवद्रीता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे
जय निषद भगवान
जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय केशवद्रेता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय
केशवदेता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय Narsingadev, Narsingadev, Jayo Narsingadev.
Jayo Narasimhadev, Jayo Narasimhadev, Narasimhadev, Jayo Narasimhadev.
Jayo Narahari, Jayo Narahari, Narahari, Jayo Narahari.
Jayo Narahari, Jayo Narahari, Jayo Narahari, Jayo Narahari.
Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Bhakta Prahlad.
Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj.
Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha.
Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Oh
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha, Nil Madhav Radha, Nil Madhav Radhe.
Jaya Radha, Nila Madhav Radha, Nila Madhav Radhe.
Jaya Radha, Nil Madhav Radha, Nil Madhav Radhe.
Jaya Radha, Nila Madhav Radha, Nila Madhav Radhe.
Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva.
Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Srila Gurudeva.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Radha Krishna Pranama.
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा
प्राण मोरा युगला किशोर
जीवने मराने गति अरनाहि मोरा
जीवने मरणे गति अरुणाहि मोरा
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगला किशोर
कालिंदीरा कुले केली कादंबे रवाना कालिंदीरा कुले केली कादंबे रवाना रतन बेदीरा परा बोसा बोधु जाना
रतना में वीरा परा बोसा बोधु जाना
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगला किशोर
श्याम गौरी अंगे दिव चंदने रगंधा
श्याम गौरी अंगे दिवो चंदने रगंधा
श्याम गौरी अंगे दिव चंदने रगंधा
चंदने रगंधा
चमरा दुलाबो कबे हेरी मुख चंद्रा
चामरा दुलाबो कबे मुख चंद्रा
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगला किशोर
गतिया मला ते मला दिबोदो हारा गले
दिया मला तीर्मला दिबोदो हारा गले
गतिया मला तीर्मला दिबोदो हारा गले
दिया मला तीर्मला दिबोदो हारा गले
आधारे तुलिया दिबो कर्पूर तांबूले
आदरे दुलिया दिबो कर्पूर तांबूले
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगला
ललिता विशाखा यधि जत सखी वृंदा
ललिता विशाखादि जत सखी वृंदा
ललिता विशाखा यधि जत सखी वृंदा
ललिता विशाखादि जत सखी वृंदा
आज्ञाया करिबो सेवा चरणारविंदा
आज्ञाया गौरीवो देवा चरणारविन्द
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर राधा
कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगला किशोर
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासेरानुदासा
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 सेवाया भिलासा कोरे नरोत्तमदासा
सेवाया विलासा कोरे नरोत्तमदासा
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगला किशोर
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर
राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगला किशोर
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Jayo Radha Nila Madha Shri Radhe.
Jayo Radha Nila Madhav Shri Radhe.
Jayo Radhe Shyam, Jayo Radhe Shyam, Jayo Radhe Shyam, Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Jayo Radhe Shyam, Jayo Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe
Jai Gaura
Shyam.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.